Hi guys, welcome back, and today we are going to be talking about the partial eclipse full moon in Taurus that happens November 19th, 2021. I'm Ashley Rose, and I have my support each other hoodie on because I just really feel that, you know, eclipses are a time of upheaval and transformation and a lot of unexpected things happening, that it's a good reminder to support each other as we go through this, because collectively, individually, we're all going through some type of change right now. And it's important to know that we have love and we have support for each other and honor each other in those spaces. But this partial lunar eclipse is a time when 97% of the moon is covered by Earth's shadow, and this interrupts the moon's cycle. And this energy will stay around for 6 months. And this is important because it's significant to what we are going to see in these next 6 months and how everything's going to kind of unfold. So it's important to be open and be aware of what is going on and kind of align ourselves with it to make the most out of it. This is the beginning of a new eclipse cycle. So for this next 18 months, we're going to be seeing all these changes take place. And this exact, not this exact, but this Scorpio Taurus eclipse hasn't happened since 2014. So throughout this time, also take a second to reflect on what happened in 2014, 2015. How did things unfold, and what were the areas that were touched, that were transformed, that were, you know, and how did that just like play out for you? It's good to kind of ponder those at that time. I think I graduated high school, so that was a great year for me. I'm excited. But an eclipse is all of the power of the full moon, but charged up, right? So full moons are a heightened sense of, you know, intuition, of emotions. The moon rules our emotions, so that's our fears, our triggers, our traumas. Those things are being illuminated, and with it being an eclipse, everything's charged up, and so it's just stirring up disruptions in our personal relations. So again, just expect kind of the unexpected with this day, and as things unfold. You know, when I think about this, it reminds me of the wheel in the tarot. So just trusting that karma's on your side, the universe is on your side, and it's conspiring to help what you're going through. So it's better to just kind of embrace this change and to really go with the flow, because the best way that you're going to get through this day, that you're really going to use this energy in a way that benefits you and motivates you and aligns you with where you're going, is to stay grounded and to do your personal work. Do the work that comes up, confront the emotions that come to the surface, and apply them in a way that really keeps you on the track that you're looking to go. A full moon, again, that's a heightened time of our emotions. And this is usually a time to take action towards our desires, but with this eclipse adding all this fuel to the fire, it's not a time to make manifestations or to kind of like start new beginnings. Because that will only really just kind of incite more chaos. It'll kind of like counteract what is already trying to unfold. Like, we already, you know, put the order into Grubhub and it's on its way. And so trying to kind of like stop it and send it back is just going to cause a lot more. Then the order's going to come out wrong, right? I hope you stuck on with that one. And just kind of, it's important to just like allow these transitional changes and again disruptions to just unfold naturally, and that's going to also be affected in our daily routine, or we're going to see that affected in our daily routine. It's going to feel kind of like a dramatic game of tug of war back and forth of like, you know the feeling I'm expressing. But this energy too is coming to help, you know, us explore and make the changes within in regards to our intimate personal energy. So this is very big internal work that we're doing with this eclipse, especially with it being in Taurus. You know, we're letting go of obsessions and getting answers through our self-connection and our new perspective that we're gaining from allowing ourselves to be open and allowing ourselves to just kind of go on the journey of this. You know, we're in the middle of this process, and so to be expecting end results right now is kind of, you know, expectations that we're setting a little too high for ourselves. We're setting more achievable goals. The moon being in Scorpio. Scorpio loves to tap into the shadow self. Then we have our moon in Taurus, and Taurus craves stability. So as we could be feeling rocky to things, it's just this change that just mixes things up, and it's the arrival of that that's making us feel rocky. And because the moon is in Taurus, it's our emotions, we're just kind of like, we can feel it coming, and we're like, I don't know, but it's gonna be okay. And just, you know, kind of go into the day with expecting the unexpected, but really just we're going to see that in our finances, in the way that we feel stable, how we create stability in our life, our love, and romance. This Scorpio-Taurus axis brings the themes of, you know, Taurus is concerned with control of, you know, like, I want to keep, or I want to know I matter, my relationships are authentic, they're based in truth, we communicate that in a way that's open and intense and physical, and Scorpio saying, I'm willing to dive deep to make my world beautiful and sensual and supportive. And so we're using those things together to be adaptive and to get creative about the life that we're building and about these things that are coming up to the surface. How can we push ourselves out of our comfort zone? And as things become chaotic and uncomfortable, how can we ground ourselves back in to say that we are safe, we are secure, we are learning, we are growing, we are healing, right? So listen to what your intuition is trying to tell you. There's recognition here that you have value and that you're going through a big healing process, right? We just talked about that. This is big energy that helps us deepen our access to our inner workings. So while this is open and this energy is working with us, take advantage of that. Really open up some of those things that you're ready to handle and that you're ready to move forward with, because, you know, like I said, you asked the universe for change. You said, I no longer want to control, right? I no longer want to feel unstable. I no longer want to be financially insecure. And this is the work that we have to do to create that in our life. And so it's going to come big, it's going to come abrupt, but it's the most important thing that needs to happen right now. So for big themes of this eclipse is going to be indulging in your senses, right? It's in Taurus. Taurus is all about sensuality. So we're talking, you know, smelling, taste, touching, feeling, seeing things. So listen to your favorite music, eat your favorite food, smell your favorite smells, like go smell the roses, talk to your favorite people, listen to your favorite music, watch your favorite movies, those types of things, because that's really going to translate your findings into concrete action that brings things into a physical sense. And that way you can just tap into them easier and find that balance again within the chaos. Because, you know, even though, you know, we're not Libra here looking for balance, Taurus is very much about being balanced and about having a steady, calm, comfortable environment that they can just kind of thrive in. And so to feel this opposition, these things going on, it's going to feel unbalanced. So working towards that balance today is very important, or during this full moon is very important. So how do we find grounding while still holding space for our shadow self? That's going to be a big question, an active active interaction with yourself throughout the day. You're going to be constantly kind of having this conversation. How can I bring myself back to the moment? How can I bring myself back to what I'm healing through, what I'm growing through? How can I bring myself back to support myself? It's really on this day, the only thing that's going to be tripping us up or trying to stop us is our ego and telling us that, like, we can't do it. But what we're going to do instead of listen to the ego is lean into, again, these Taurus themes of physical, sensual activity. So that supports our bodies, right? So that's like cooking a good meal, massage, yoga, working out, stuff that your body, nourishing your body and building your body up, right? Treating it as a temple, as a vessel, and honoring the work that it does for you every day, to kind of release that tension, because that's going to be really the way out, the best way to deal with all of this energy that's just kind of being stirred up inside of us. So what is your favorite way to ground? That's a question to ponder. Ponder, put into practice, those types of things. The sun in Scorpio is in opposition to the moon, so that's kind of like some friction, some tension. So it's going to be important again to ground. You see a theme? It's really like through all this grounding is just like testing, challenging, giving us the opportunity to work on finding balance and work on finding peace consistently throughout the day, consistently throughout what we're doing, what we're planning, what we're building, and not allowing ourselves to get swept up by emotions that distract us from what we're doing, that take our focus out of center, that helps to bring us back to what we're doing. It's very big. So heightened senses again, and sensuality, again, finding that balance between our shadow and our uncomfortable truths, being open and allowing those things to come to the center, and nurturing yourself through that. And again, leaning into our stimuli and our senses, you know, and our senses and our external stimuli to kind of lighten the mood, lighten the energy, and again, connect back into who we are and align ourselves with what's going on. Then we have the moon squaring Jupiter, so there's some tension there, but that's encouraging our spiritual maturity. Jupiter is the lucky planet, and so this comes in the form of good luck, you know, from others, from yourself, to socialize and share your ideas by putting yourself out there, communicating with yourself, communicating with other people what you're doing. It's going to feel hard, but it's going to feel hard, that's the work, but the reward is in that you pushed through that uncomfortable feeling and you receive good luck for doing those things, from pushing yourself outside of the comfort zone. But also with this, watch for, you know, overindulgence. So if we're communicating with people, we're communicating our ideas. We're not communicating gossip or, you know, overindulging in communication that makes us feel bad, or that may come back to like bring bad luck. Because I mean, luck is luck. You can put good or bad on it, but it's all still luck, right? And being conscious about just the energy that we're putting out there, because it can lead to, again, overindulgence, and we want this to lead to expansion instead. So like I said, sharing ideas that promote expansion, that promote your growth, that promote your healing, that support each other as well, that's going to do really well, and you're going to see a lot of good things happen, kind of unfold, domino effect, because you went that route instead of the other. There is a T-square with the sun, moon, and Jupiter. So again, just kind of amplifying this emotional intensity that we're feeling, but it's really pushing us to challenge the way that we experience growth and that we experience excess, and kind of bringing them back down into balance, because sometimes with those two, it can be hard for us to make a decision forward, right? Because we're too concerned about if we're growing, or too concerned if we're not, we're too concerned if this is doing too much or too little, and it's making it hard for us to make a decision. So again, we're going to want to do something about that by sharing our ideas and remember what we have that's going on for us, because there's an opportunity to do something with it that's meaningful, that's transformative, that really will, again, unfold within these next 6 months. But we have to be brave enough to do that, right? And we are brave, we are strong. We've gone through so many more things than what today is going to be. Just remind yourself throughout this day that it's all happening the way that it should. It's all happening the way that it is, for me, for my future, for, you know, my wants, my needs, my desires. So as we see that play out within the next 6 months, it's going to be better to make sense of the changes taking place now than to wait later. So take advantage of that. You know, as this energy is working with you to make the change, embrace the change, because either now or later you're going to have to do it. And as you let it go, it just builds and becomes something more intense and something harder to break through. So as we are all breaking through today, break through it and remind yourself that change is a journey. It doesn't just happen overnight just because you think the thought of like, oh, I'm no longer gonna eat peas, or I mean, not peas, but like, what do I want to do? I'm no longer gonna, we'll say like, eat meat. Okay, awesome. But it's not gonna be something, maybe it happens overnight, but your body's got to get used to it. You got to make it a habit. It's got to be something that, and you're not going to see the the health benefits yet until a couple months down the line. And it's important to remember yourself that it's all a journey. So you have to stay motivated through it. And you have to motivate yourself. There's not anybody that's going to be coming along, and at least not in how this looks, everything's very internal, that is going to push you and motivate you to keep going forward on your journey. This is all coming from yourself today. And Venus comes in. Venus plays an important part today because it's that loving on yourself, right? Venus is ruled by Taurus, and Taurus is about love and finances and beauty. And you're asking yourself, like, what do I value most? What are my patterns? What are my behaviors? And I love myself enough to look at them and to move through them and to, you know, say, is this aligned with who I am? Is it not? Does this truly speak to me? Am I supporting myself in the best way possible? And with the moon, this moon Venus energy is loving, it's kind, it's calm, it's sweet, it is willing to do the work and, you know, to get creative and express yourself. So embrace this, you know, extra love that we have for ourselves in our dreams, what we're doing to, again, open up and ask questions about things like our patterns and our behaviors. You can expect changes in your relationships, right? So these are, as truths are being brought to the surface, it's important to, again, communicate those things and talk about them and to make the changes as you're going through them, as these things are being brought up, and to work with your partner, with, you know, your friends, whoever is in this dynamic that you're changing your relationship with, to build a stronger bond that you can navigate things with, right? So like you bring up this change, you bring up this thing that's being brought to the surface, by taking it to your partner and working through it together and building something together, it builds stronger. So the unexpected event can be maybe you are leaving, but I think it's really more so of you both, you know, digging down deep, allowing your truths to surface and taking them to each other. And that builds a bond, that's vulnerability, that's security within each other to know that you can come together and work on things, and then make plans. Make a plan together on how you're gonna work through these things and how you're gonna change and how you can use this to transform your relationship and move forward and ultimately love each other on such a deeper level than we were before, because we were living up here in the surface, right? I don't know, but that feels good. Our North Node is on the moon, so that is bringing like karmic influences that happens internally. So again, that's like this energy of like, we put the order in, and so it's coming back around, right? Or we're getting the delivery of what we wanted, except this delivery comes from internal. So again, when we're talking about relationships here, maybe this is like we struggle with codependency. And so we put the order in of like, I don't want to be codependent anymore. And this North Node on the moon is this karmic influence that's coming to help you not be codependent anymore. It's going to bring you opportunities to not be codependent, to stand independently, to put your boundaries out there and stick to them. And you got to ask yourself, where are we going? Or what are we ready to change? And remembering who we are through that process, right? And what we want with that, or that we are the director of our story, so we get to decide how we're going to move through it, right? Or, you know, and we get to decide if we can take a break. And we need a break. We need a break today. There's definitely room for a break today. Because it's, you know, we need to reassess a little. There's going to be things that are going on, and it's going to be important to reassess and ask, you know, again, are we aligned to where we want to go? There's a trine happening with Pluto, and trines are acceptance. It's literally like a triangle for looking at the astrology. It's a very fruitful time to look into integrating your shadow work. I know, dun, 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 shadow work, but we kind of do it a little bit today is a big day focused on our shadow work. So the vibes are going to be feeling intense. They're going to be revealing truths to what has been holding you back, but just let the universe do that. Let them take the wheel, stay open, even if it feels uncomfortable, and just trust the process. Because we've already been reminded many times throughout this to just trust the process, trust what's coming up, what's going on. It's all coming to help us. So going with the flow, allowing the universe to kind of just take control is, you know, is really going to help you transform and to help you heal. So get in touch again with your bodies when you're feeling this tension or this, I get tension, but it's like an acceptance of this tension with our shadow work to stay connected and grounded while we transform this, right? So we are seeking security in matters of love, finance, and self-worth. But again, throw out that comfort zone, find new ways to stay grounded, find, new ways that inspire you to really go after your passions and desires, but again, connect you to who you are. So maybe you're writing poems, maybe you're drawing, maybe you're, starting a business or an idea, a concept, something, but we're going to want to kind of move towards that because Mars in Scorpio is really helping us dig deep to our desires and our passions as our mind and our emotions kind of like this security guard today. They're safe. How we express, how we feel, everything's safe because we're doing it for a bigger purpose. And it's a healing the way we tap into our desires to build that security, to build that structure, to build that stability where we are no longer someone's fool, or we are the fool walking around unknowingly. Because we're going to have this passion to dig up deep truths again, but not in the mood to like start arguments. So we're not going to try to like dig up things within each other. We're just, digging deep in ourselves. And if people are putting that energy back onto you, walk away. Peace out, Girl Scout. Ain't got time for that. Because even though it's going to feel a little tough and a little, Mercury is kind of coming in with the communication to help us through that. There's a big influence on the way that we communicate with ourselves and out loud to ourselves. So communicating our desires, communicating what comes up, communicating what we really want to do, what authentically feels right to us, how we feel with all of these things, our senses with all of those things, a big deal. Mercury is really pushing on that because this is a time for us to kind of look at things of how we want to unfold during this eclipse season in the next year as like a New Year's resolution. So we're not writing out manifestations, but we're writing down what we want to change within the new year. What do we want to do? How we're going to implement that? And how are we going to get this extra weight that we're carrying on our shoulders off? And how are we expressing our dreams? If we're expressing our dreams fully, are we only expressing one or are we expressing two or three? And how are we going to do this? Those are the types of communications and conversations that we're going to be having with ourselves today. Because it's really an opportunity to get to the core truth, to figure out what's been holding you back and be brave and willing to go there. Because again, only the ego is going to stop you from going to that place. So have the strength and the confidence to put your abstract thoughts, or I guess I should back that up. You're going to have the strength with Mercury to put words to your abstract thoughts and finally be able to pinpoint them. So it's like, sometimes I have thoughts all the time and I'm trying every time I try to like get them out and I talk to people about them, I'm like, I feel like this big in my mind and how I feel it, but then when I said it just sounded like this. Like how? But now we're able to put better words on that as we've kind of dug deeper and actually can pinpoint what that actually is. Now that we can see it clearer and with a different focus, a different view lens, it's way easier for us to find that balance through it again. And it's really going to help deflate a lot of that fear. It's two big like talents, or like it's like energetic energetic like support from the universe is going to help us move through with these placements. It's going to give us two talents to tap into. And the first one is going to be that the ego is the first one's going to be that we know that the ego is trying to put us off from what needs to be done and to process, but we're going to be talented today in moving through that and not listening to it and taking the opportunity to go towards what we actually desire and what we actually feel aligned with. And then the second talent that we're going to have today is going to be dedicated to make the change and to do something about it. That's why the inner work is so important today, because this is just kind of like a pit stop on the journey. It's just a time to reassess and to focus on what we're doing, where we're going, and how we're going to align ourselves there. And you know, asking like, what's important to you now? So we can't get stuck and stop, because it's just really just like almost like a fall cleaning, you could say, like out with the old, in with the new, 100%. I'm sorry, we are getting close to the end, but there's a lot going on in this eclipse, and I just wanted to make sure that we all got it, you know? The strongest mode that's going to be, or I should say the signs that are going to be affected the most are fixed signs. So that's going to be our Aquarius, our Leos, our Scorpio, and our Taurus. So love on your friends that are those placements, because you're really going to be washing away the structures that just no longer need to be around, that have been around for too long, that have been, you know, you've been hiding behind. You're no longer going to be under the influence of something. And maybe that's a person, maybe that's an environment, maybe that's a perspective, a pattern, or behavior, but it's really going to be shining a light. This full moon eclipse is really going to be shining a light on all those things, and it's time to become more objective and become more of what you were maybe hiding behind, being put behind, or, you know, just under the influence of. And that is beautiful. So take the day to do that, to take all the good out of it, to dive deep, to be brave for yourself, give yourself grace, and, you know, be willing to put the work in for you, because the work doesn't always need to be pen to paper. There's a lot that can go on in here too. So I'm going to get to the journal prompts. We have 5 journal prompts, 2 mantras, and an affirmation card. So the first journal prompt is going to be, what activities help you feel grounded through chaotic times? Number 2, in what ways have you projected or experienced somebody projecting onto you, and how did you feel? Number 3, what is your relationship with shadow work? Number 4, what do you feel called to release? And the last one, how do we provide love and security for ourselves? Good ones, I know. And then our mantras, we have, I speak authentic and I am authentic and I speak my truth, pardon me. And then number 2, everything is always working out for me, which maybe seem like a lame affirmation, but I felt like this whole eclipse is like a big hammer to that understanding of like, everything is working out for me, and I need to just step aside and allow it to happen and just go with the flow. And like, we're going to be repeating that to ourselves all day. Everything is working out for me. Everything is working out for me. It's not happening to you. It's happening for you, for your alignment, for your future, for your happiness and your joy. All right. And then we get an affirmation. It is, I let the universe catch up with my dreams. Let the universe catch up with your dreams today, okay? That's what's happening. So just take a step aside, stay in your body, stay present, be grounded for it. It's gonna be amazing, it's gonna be beautiful, very transformative, but let the universe catch up, okay? I love you guys. It's going to be a great full moon. I can't wait to hear about all the things and how your life is going to change. If you would like to know more about me, you can check out my website. That's ashleyrose.com. Check me out on Instagram. The links are in the description. Otherwise, I will see you back in the daily tarot readings. All right. Love you guys.